The following is strictly satirical exaggeration. Welcome back, folks. I'm Dustin Houghton, and today we are breaking this frontline report from the InfoWar about how Chobani Yogurt has got an army of Islamic Colbert yogurt head. Chobani Yogurt has factories full of Islamic refugee, tuberculosis spitting rapist Colbert yogurt heads. Watch out, you might get fucked by a yogurt headed Colbert near you. Thanks to Chobani Yogurts for bringing in the racist, Islamic, homophobic, rapist, yogurt-headed Colbert fuckers. This has been an InfoWar Frontline Report. This is my love letter to Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Why, I could kill you and go on with my day as if it wasn't a thing. Self-defense. People with this mentality are 100% likely to kill an active shooter before first responders are even alerted that something has happened. Muhammad's jihad is shit out of luck in the Midwest. Middle America is armed to the teeth with a gun behind every blade of grass. Even without the military, local militias would absolutely fuck dead any Muhammad jihad. The following is strictly a satirical exaggeration in my love letter to the mainstream media. Dear the mainstream media, I wanted to let you know that I noticed how you looked at me after the election. Like you don't want to fuck, but you know that it's coming. You seem disconnected and distant, as everything you say sounds delusional. I know you've been wrong a lot lately. It's nothing to be sad about. Others just don't see your arrogance as an invitation for sex like I do. Your lust and greed for the hypnotic power you may once have had over a fleshy mushroom like my own is nothing short from spectacular when you are exposed. Deception manifest. Arousing more than that is your blind self-service to the degree that no hole to you is immoral. And that is why I could just fuck you all to death, mainstream media. I love you, whether or not you love me too. The following is strictly a satirical exaggeration. Former presidents going way, way back can all be seen as potential Satan worshippers from their actions alone. Now that we have a president that isn't a Satanist and one that wants us to have a future beyond the carbon taxes. Alright, it is the year 2017. Donald Trump isn't a Satanist, and he wants us to have a future beyond the carbon taxes that prevented our race from surviving on the surface of Mars, or Eden, however you want to look at it. The Bible's description of the Ark of Noah and the days that preceded the fateful flood, where the bloodlines of the most truly evil-hearted beasts of men were snuffed out, and may very well point to the Jews' extraterrestrial origin. The rest of us here are niggers, for all intensive purposes. The Earthlings never were God's chosen people because we never came from the same planet where Eden was. Long before the Sumerians or any histories that we have now recorded, the Jews lived on Mars, and their society was at a similar phase of technology to our own today. Only their need for political correctness in the face of their religious views pointed them straight into the global warming crisis that took down Mars. The producers of carbon dioxide from the planet itself had gone dormant, and while technology made up for the carbon output, bureaucrats and politicians of Mars decided that carbon was to be taxed and that the population growth was too large to be sustainable on the planet Mars. The carbon taxes eventually destroyed the atmosphere, killing the people of the planet in the flood that ensued of the outside space to the surface of the planet. Those who survived came across the void of space in Noah's Ark to land faithfully on planet Earth. Donald Trump knows this fateful Christian history and has thus begun the process of going back to Mars to reverse the de-atmospherization of the planet. Donald Trump, savior of the universe, isn't a Satanist because he wants us to have a future beyond the carbon taxes that prevented our race from surviving on the surface of Mars. With what we all know are monuments on the surface of Mars, it is not hard to see that we may very well have come from that planet in our distant history. And if we came from Mars to Earth, what are the possibilities that we may have came from another galaxy to Mars? There could be entire groupings of the human race in other galaxies around the universe and cosmos. Trump ought to watch out for Jared Kushner because he is an extraterrestrial Jew. The following is strictly a satirical exaggeration. The View, featuring wannabe white person Whoopi Goldberg, stereotypes and segregates Trump supporters as skinheads, racists, and deplorables, then go on to segregate and stereotype criminal non-citizen foreign nationals with themselves as citizens and with legal immigrants. Oh, don't let me forget the entire Mexican ethnicity, too. The View is an Islamic terrorist group inciting violence and leading Antifa, along with other Chinese-owned fake news, anti-American enemy media Islamic terrorist groups. The only way that we can shut down the ISIS, The View, is by having these people arrested for their views. I am pro-First Amendment, anti-fascist, anti-First Amendment, pro-First Amendment, fascist, anti-fascist, pro-First Amendment, anti-First Amendment. So go do the math on that while I try to get you arrested for treason, Whoopi Goldberg, and the rest of the assholes at The View. These people have been dangerously calling for the assassination of the President of the United States, through their calls of him having committed treason with no evidence whatsoever, through their calls of saying that he is a maniac or insane or crazy or psychologically, mentally unfit for office from a distance, without evidence, making them one of the forefronts of ISIS's attack against the American people and our founding principles. If anybody should be responsible for the violence that is coming from the Antifa, Purple Revolutionary, Black Lives Matter groups, it should be the Joy Behards that have been calling for such violence for so very long. Is no one safe when the Islamic terrorists broadcast on TV every day and every hour during the day? What are these communist Americans doing? They have no idea what kind of a slippery slope they're playing on. If you know a stupid-ass Antifa liberal near you, do your best to try not to trigger them, because they might kill you violently and gruesomely. This is a public service announcement to the stupid asses throughout America who doesn't recognize the Islamic terrorist, fake news, anti-American enemy media for what it is. Thank you. The following is strictly satirical exaggeration. This just in. Monsanto is wanted for the genocide of the human race and a number of races of plants alongside it. This is Mars News Today. The Earth has been completely destroyed by genetically modified organisms that have mutated in the last few hundred years to become the monsters we have all now grown to fear. Fuck the robot uprising. That shit did not last against the biological weapons that we have unleashed upon ourselves through Monsanto. GMO corn growing out of oak trees in Texas began to grow vicious man-eating teeth and arms and legs, and these giant, basically impervious plant beings grew to be such undescribable monstrosities that I cannot put it in words today to describe to you here, folks. Anyhow, if you know anybody who has ever worked for Monsanto or their corporate subsidiaries, please report them to your local officials. They are all wanted for crimes against humanity. Think in Urban Dictionary speak. It is the year 2017. Fuck words, words stupid. You no need words. We no need words. You Urban Dictionary speak. Then you know what I mean when I speak. This how we smart, but no need smart for dumb speak. The following is strictly a satirical exaggeration. Alright folks, welcome back to the Western Colorado Infowar. I'm your host, Dustin Houghton, here to talk about Obama bin Laden. Is Obama Osama bin Laden? I have a report to say, is this a hoax or no joke? Allah, Allah, Akbar, Allah, Allah. Obama bin Laden's son wants to avenge his father's alleged death at the hands of his father, says an XBI. The long-lost son of Obama, Hussein bin Laden, has vowed to kill his own father in revenge for his father's death, not knowing that his father is really the man who killed his father in disguise as an American. Somebody warn Hamza before he takes his father's own life. In a twisted revenge plot, Hamza, Obama is your father, and the path of jihad has brought you into the shame of sin. Blah, la, la, la. A Durka Durka. Syria Jihad. Muhammad Durka Durka. So these people say that through the images of the palm and fingerprints of Obama and Osama bin Laden and the facial recognition software that they allegedly say that they say is used to convict people with, matches Barack Hussein Obama, with Osama bin Laden. I am going to go ahead and let you guys just decide on this one, because it's still out there, folks. I mean, if it's true, think of the implication. The following is strictly a satirical exaggeration. Your Russian narrative just sprung a wiki leak. Comey the Clown gets fired. The first of many swamp monsters to fall in the goalie of the swamp's drain. Donald Trump may have been in a struggle for a minute on this one, and through all the muck and mud that he is now covered in, you can see that the man is pretty pissed off, and hopefully ready to slay more swamp monsters like this Comey the Clown. It's a good thing we elected the swamp drainingest, ball swingingest motherfucker around. You keep on knocking him down. The following is strictly a satirical exaggeration. The following is strictly a satirical exaggeration. Hug a Muslim refugee. Refugees welcome. How the United Kingdom and Germany compare on refugees migrating. Berlin has proposed a quota system. Thousands of Germans have volunteered to help these refugees, and press coverage has been more balanced. But there have also been more violent incidents in Germany. More than 4 million refugees have fled Syria since the war there began in 2011, according to the United Nations Refugee Agency. Almost 1 million have gone to Turkey, more than 600,000 refugees to Jordan, and 1 million refugees for Lebanon, a country whose population is just 4 million people. Secretary
They accuse conservatives of treating these refugees and treating these refugees as treating immigrants and these refugees as the same thing, when they are completely different. The government's target of reducing net migration to tens of thousands, which it has repeatedly failed to meet, includes refugees, which it is said we have a proud tradition of protecting refugees. We're not living up to it. It's extremely disappointing. It's what's needed in this country is real leadership on this. The former foreign secretary said Britain should take its fair share of refugees and complained that the government had misnamed what he said was a refugee crisis, not a migrant crisis. Writing in the paper, a tech SNCPO likened refugees crossing the Mediterranean to cockroaches. By the contrast, Germany's best-selling title ran the front page headline, "We are helping," above a picture of two refugees. By the end of that week, the German Interior Ministry had recorded 336 assaults on refugee shelters since the start of the year, over 100 more than in the whole of 2014. The majority of these attacks had a right-wing motive. The majority of these attacks had something to do with revenge for rape. In America, Republicans are pro-life, except when it comes to refugees, saying that millions of Syrian refugees are seeking homes. Maybe U.S. politicians are opposed to allowing such refugees into the United States.
The following is strictly a satirical exaggeration. This week on NPR, we had a guest that asked us what we will do if this week on National Public Radio, we got statements from a middle-aged Latina woman immigrant that asked us what she would do if her illegal immigrant husband loses his job or gets deported by the Donald Trump administration. We told her that she probably should have thought of that before they came here illegally, and reminded her that there are legal ways to immigrate to the United States, and it appears as though your husband has just lost his job because he got deported. And as soon as we are done with this interview, you won't have to worry about what to do because you are also getting deported. This just in. Immigrant arrests are up 38% nationwide under the Mexican presidency. The Mexican president is absolutely furious at the millions upon millions of Americans that poured over his border in the last few decades, saying that American gangs are raping and pillaging the people of Mexico. The Mexican president wants to build a wall, and he says that the Americans are going to pay for it. Hello, I am in America. I work in Mexico, but I'm not a citizen. I don't speak much Mexican, but I just want to say this. Please don't deport me until I take your money. The following is strictly a satirical exaggeration. Don't be an Uncle Tom, white people, in racist America. Lick the Prophet Muhammad's hairy ass and sweaty balls. Put your women in their place and rape absolutely every infidel American not in a burqa. The Christians are obviously the cause and the founders of Nazism and the rise of Hitler, and for their Holocaust, they need to all be killed, or in the very least castrated, so that they can't have any offspring. God is the greatest. Send Christian infidels and queer sodomites to hell, derpa derpa. God is the greatest. God wants you to rape the infidel and feed him his children before beheading him. You will love God. God is the greatest. Infidels will meet fiery hell. Muhammad, Islam, Jihad, Afghani, Iran, Jihad, God. Burka. The following is strictly a satirical exaggeration. Alright folks, I've been holding my breath for weeks, months literally now, because it's been a little while since I've gotten orders from Russia and Putin. He's been going around to all of his agents all over the world to congratulate us this week, though. This is breaking. I'm breaking this here. So yeah, prepare to learn Russian, like they were all saying, because Russia has literally taken over the world. Game is over. Sorry, folks. You can go home and put up your Russian flag because you don't have a country anymore. Nobody's sovereign. It's all Russia. Even China, dude, they got on their knees and said, "Oh, Russia got such big penis. You can't fight Russian. We all die. You go ahead and be our leader now." So we've got about 1,000 years of darkness to look forward to under the rule of Putin's dictatorial lineage. It is officially time to freak out, liberal folks. Our socialism is dead in the water. Oligarchs are dead in the water. And nobody has a country. Yeah. It's the end of your country as you know it. It's the end of your country as you know it. But Russia feels fine. Yeah, Russia feels fine. Gay clown Putin feels fine. Yeah! Time to get a Russian flag or a white flag. You don't know any Russian, do you? No, I know people who do though, and it's cool as shit when they speak it. Don't, Russians are assholes, dude. I wouldn't be your friend. The last Russian I actually hung out with or was around, I kicked in the head. Dude, he broke the rose I just gave to my that girl I was trying to fucking get with. It was some total on the principle he's punking my ass out. So I grabbed the back of the chair, the desk, and swung my ass in between the fucking aisle and just clocked him right in the side of his big fat fucking Russian head. And he didn't like that, so he tackled me to the ground, and the bitch started screaming and whacking at his back, and I got away with it. He should have had me there. I should have had my ass kicked that day. Yeah! The following is strictly a satirical exaggeration. A tweet I couldn't bring myself to tweet this week. Hashtag Covfefe is the noise Melania makes when she turns over in the middle of the night. Hashtag Queef at Flotus. The following is strictly a satirical exaggeration. On The View this week, Chelsea Clinton appeared to squash the old dynasty's hopes for the Clinton nepotism ticket of 2020. This would be quite the battle if Hillary and Chelsea were somehow disconnected from all of their crimes. It would be the Democrats' best bet if they weren't too busy trying to sell their souls at spirit cookings so Satan gives them another election. No, folks, that would open up the door to give Mike Pence the boot and bring in Donald Trump Jr. as Donald Trump's running mate. Can you picture it? Trump 2020. Donald Trump and Donald Trump in the Oval Office. Nepotism at its absolute finest. In 2020, Trump. The following is strictly a satirical exaggeration. Monsanto teamed up with the FDA and has created genetically engineered candy that produces mutations in organisms with short lifespans. We here at the WesternCOInfowar have been following an ant colony that has been given a piece of this government candy. The first day yielded no substantial results. On day number 2, however, we noted the ants' new use of and development of primitive tools. Day 3, we realized their sciences are advancing rapidly to meet with what we ourselves know of technologies and science. Already they have implemented projectile defenses using various venoms harvested from the bugs these ants imprison, and have effectively killed 3 scientists studying them, and my colleague and fellow reporter Jimmy. Rest in peace, Jimmy. Day 4, we have the colony surrounded and have effectively declared war on our new teeny nemesis. Many brave men have died trying to fight the ants through the smells of putrid imbile and teeny screams of burning ants beside the bellows of soldiers writhing in various toxin-induced death struggles. Day 5. The colony is in cinders, and genetically engineered candy is now illegal to feed to anyone but human children. Since science help us to avert any future struggles against races of super intelligent mutant ant people. The following is strictly a satirical exaggeration. Global warming in Colorado. Flooding was reported on May 31st, 2017, where they claim that spring runoff has caused some flooding, which was beyond all of the projections. There were reports of closed roads, residential flooding, and infrastructure issues. High level of flooding affected 60 to 70 fields in the area. Some said that flooding impacted about 5,000 acres, with the damage estimates running between $150,000 and $500,000. These farmers are pretty much used to flooding, but this year it was far more excessive. Crews from the city of Delta closed the lower loop of Confluence Trail. Crews of the city of Delta closed roads, and as this report concludes here, the city's Parks Department says that the crews are at the mercy of the river. Residents have not seen any help, and global warming is definitely got to be to blame for this one. Global warming in Colorado that caused this is weather weapon attacks from the Fifth Reich Führer George Soros ordering climate warriors in Paris to flood us. We must strike back against the United Nazis, aka the UN, by giving them severe weather right back. I call for Trump to lightning bolt Macron with weather weapons like Zeus. Suck on that global warming weather war. Colorado isn't beachfront property yet, is it, Al Gore? WesternCOInfowar tobacco pipe, which will be made available for sale soon. All right. The following is strictly a satirical exaggeration. If your heart bleeds for the Islamic Muslim terror victims, let that blood bleed green cash for me. We here at the Western Colorado Infowar want to take full advantage of your passionate tears and cries of despair. We understand better than anyone how the white man's purely racist hatred for the Muslim race is better reason than any to reach out and support a victimized Islamic terrorist Muslim today. These poor neglected Islamic terrorist Muslims need your help, and there is no telling what hole they will die in without your generous support. Call 303-9191 today, where our partners at Colorado Public Radio can accept your $5 a month sponsorship of a victimized Islamic terrorist Muslim. For only just a $5 a month sponsorship, your victimized Islamic terrorist Muslim is kept out of the view of racist white Christian authorities with a brand new United Nations certified identity. When you sponsor a victimized Islamic terrorist Muslim, Muslim, you will receive a picture of your Islamic terrorist, a copy of the Holy Quran, and a plain black hijab to cover your mother, wife, grandmother, or daughter's shamefully sinful facial features, as well as to protect them from being honor raped by a recovering victimized refugee Islamic terrorist Muslim. Sponsor your victimized Islamic terrorist Muslim for $10 a month and he will receive CPR's limited post-Stabadon Ramadan special. CPR's limited post-Stabadon Ramadan special provides your victimized Islamic terrorist Muslim with refugee status, a passport to the major United States capital city of your choice, alongside the support and perks provided by a $5 sponsorship. Victimized Islamic terrorist Muslims sponsored as a part of CPR's limited post-Stabadon Ramadan special have the highest success rate. So let your bleeding heart give generously today. Call now and money me a Muslim today. The following is strictly a satirical exaggeration. If you or a loved one took any pharmaceutical or experienced any of the following probable side effects, you need to sue now. Chronic pain, internal bleeding, hemorrhage, intestinal pain, addiction, death, erectile pain, aneurysm, birth defects, kidney failure, migraine, genital seepage, serious infection, skin cancer, and contraction of full-blown AIDS. If you or a loved one took any pharmaceutical and did not die, get them off those drugs and sue for literally any reason now.